Picture this. You open your banking app and see your savings balance looking nice and safe. Maybe it grew a little from interest. Feels good, right? Secure. Then you buy the same groceries you bought last year, and the receipt is noticeably higher. Gas is up again. Rent increased. Your emergency fund didn't grow, it shrank in what it can actually buy. That's not bad luck. V. That's inflation doing what it does, quietly eroding purchasing power for anyone holding cash. Many experts point out that while official CPI inflation has hovered in the low single digits recently, real-world costs, housing, food, healthcare, utilities often feel closer to 5 to 7% for middle-class families. At the same time, the best high-yield savings accounts are paying around 4 to 4.5%. And most traditional accounts still sit well under 1%. After taxes on that interest, your real return on cash is often close to zero or even negative. Your money is working, but it's working for yesterday's prices, not tomorrow's. That gap isn't theory. It's the slow, invisible tax most people never calculate until they realize their savings can buy what they used to. The deeper issue is opportunity cost. Every dollar sitting in interest cash is missing potential compound growth. Historically, broad U.S. stock market indexes, like the S&P 500, have returned roughly 10% annually before inflation, or about 6 to 7% after inflation over very long periods. If future returns resembled those past averages, and past performance is never a guarantee, $10,000 left in a 4% savings account for 10 years might grow to around $14,8 nominal cash. Feels safe because the number doesn't drop overnight. But inflation erodes it every day you hold it. Doing nothing is the most expensive choice most people never see coming. Research shows that many middle-class Americans keep 6 to 12 months in cash just in case, but that extra buffer could be quietly losing 1 to 3% real value every year, adding up to thousands lost over a decade. The value. It solves the problem of feeling secure while your purchasing power slips away unnoticed. So, what can actually help beat inflation without turning into a gambler? Here are 4 broad, widely recommended moves that many personal finance experts point to. First, move idle cash beyond low-yield accounts. Many financial educators suggest shifting money you won't need immediately to high-yield savings or money market accounts. Protect your emergency fund. Then put the rest to work. A common rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of expenses in liquid cash for true emergencies. Once that floor is covered, many experts recommend dollar-cost averaging the excess into low-cost, diversified index funds, total stock market, or S&P 500 ETFs. You're not trying to time the market. You're consistently buying a slice of the entire economy, which has historically outpaced inflation by a wide margin over long periods. Third, consider inflation-protected options for longer horizons. For people who want a direct hedge, some experts point to Treasury inflation-protected securities, TIPS, or, when available, Series I savings bonds, which adjust principal for inflation. Not exciting, but they're a built-in buffer against rising prices. Fourth, reframe what safe really means. Cash feels safe because the number doesn't drop overnight. But inflation erodes it every day you hold it. A diversified stock bond portfolio has volatility. But over 10 plus years, it has almost always grown ahead of inflation by a significant margin. The real risk isn't short-term dips, it's long-term purchasing power loss. The deeper question is this: are you okay letting inflation quietly tax your savings every year? Or are you ready to put your money to work in ways that have historically grown ahead of rising prices? Where do you stand right now? This video is for education and general information only. 2. It is not personal financial advice and not a recommendation for your specific situation. Everyone's finances, goals, and risks are different. So do your own research or speak with a qualified financial professional you trust before making any changes.